All praises to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. This is going to be a lesson on Hebrews, the 8th chapter, right? And going into proving more how the new covenant is only for the Israelites, man, and that Yahweh would never have went through all the things that he went through with the Israelites in order to just then end up saying, I'm going to give the salvation to everybody, right? So this is Hebrews chapter 8 and verse 1. Now the things which ye have spoken, this is the sum. We have such an high priest who is set on the right hand of the throne of the majesty in the heavens. So who's that talking about? That's talking about Yahushai. And who is this high priest? It's talking about Yahushai. And what the scripture is pretty much saying is that Yahushai is the high priest for the Israelites in the heavens right now, right? Now, did any other nation have a high priest that gave sacrifices for their sins? That Yahweh accepted the sacrifice? No, right? No, they did not. Verse 2, a minister of the sanctuary and of the true tabernacle, which the Lord pitched and not man. So he's saying that Yahushai is the minister of a sanctuary that's of the real tabernacle that the Israelites get, where the Israelites get their forgiveness from, right? A tabernacle that wasn't made by men's hands, right? This one was made by Yahweh in the heavens, right? I'll read that again, verse 2. A minister of the sanctuary and of the true tabernacle, which the Lord pitched and not man, all right? Which Yahweh pitched and not man. For every high priest is ordained to offer gifts and sacrifices, wherefore it is of necessity that this man have somewhat also to offer. And what did Yahushua offer? Well, he offered his life, right? He offered his life as the sacrifice. Yahushua died for the Israelites, man. Our high priest that we have as Israelites, right? He died himself for forgiveness of the Israelites, where in the times past, no high priest that we ever had died for the sins of himself and then the sins of every other Israelite. Because their sacrifice, them doing that, would not have been found worthy anyway, because Yahweh had to give the go ahead to say whether a sacrifice of that kind was worthy. And he only found that kind of, he only chose, right, and designed a person as Yahushai to go through that purpose and to fulfill that need, right? Verse 3 again, for every high priest is ordained to offer gifts and sacrifices, wherefore it is of necessity that this man have somewhat also to offer. For if he were on earth, he should not be able to be a priest, seeing that there are priests that offer gifts according to the law. So we've already got, with all Israelites at this time, already had priests on earth that offered gifts according to the law, right? But the way how they was offering their gifts, that was of the earthly tabernacle, not the true tabernacle that is in the heavens, man. Not the one that Yahweh made in the heavens. We was doing it according to the one that we made with our hands. Verse 5. Who serve unto the example and shadow of heavenly things, right? As Moses was admonished of Yahweh when he was about to make the tabernacle. For see, saith he, that thou make all things according to the pattern showed to thee in the mount. Now, what's that saying? That's saying that the design that Moses was given to design the tabernacle, where the Israelites would go to give off sacrifices, right? That was designed based on something that Yahweh's made in the heavens. Now, if anybody knows anything about design and stuff like that, right? About architecture and stuff like that, there's a thing that you do where you scale down a model of something that you've designed. So the design might not necessarily be exactly the same as a greater form of that design, but if you draw it to scale, you might say, okay, on the model design, on the lesser design, 1 centimeter is going to be equal to what 100 centimeters would have been on the real design. So I'm going to make a design of my thing, and it's going to still look the same as another one, as the greater design. But this is just going to be an example, like a model of what the real design looks like, man. So what the tabernacle that the Israelites made was a replica of, was of the tabernacle that exists in the heavens for the Israelites, man. Now, let me read this. Right? Let me read this. Because the scriptures always say about thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. This is Exodus chapter 25 and verse 8. And let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them, according to all that I showed thee, after the pattern of the tabernacle and the pattern of all the instruments thereof, even so shall ye make. Now, when you go and read the design of this place, right, if you read Exodus the 25th chapter and you read about all the things that was on this tabernacle, man, it sounds very beautiful to even think about the image, how it would have looked, man. And it sounds like it would be something that you wouldn't feel brave unless you're a proud demon. You wouldn't feel brave to just walk in there if you wasn't found worthy to walk in there, man. So if this tabernacle sounds so beautiful as this, then how much more the tabernacle that is in the heavens, where Yahweh Shai is, right? Where Yahweh Shai is to give intercession for the Israelites, man. And that's why it's a joke when these people try and make out as though salvation's for everybody, because they ain't got none of this, man. They didn't have a design made. They wasn't told a design of something that was in the heavens to make it so it's on earth. They wasn't told that, man. Now let me read this again. Hebrews chapter 8 and verse 4. For if he were on earth, he should not be a priest, seeing that there are priests that offer gifts according to the law. Meaning there's already gifts, there's already priests that the Israelites had that offered gifts according to the law. Yahweh Shai was around when them people was around on earth. Them people were still doing that, right? But Yahweh Shai was a different type of high priest, man, because he was sent and chosen, right, to give his sacrifice and then be taken up to the real tabernacle. He was sent to be then taken up to the real tabernacle, man, which is where he is right now. That's where he is right now, man. At the real tabernacle. And if you read the book of Hebrews, you will find that to be true. If you read the entire book of Hebrews, you will find that is true, man. Verse 5. Who serve unto the example and shadow of heavenly things, as Moses was admonished of God when he was about to make the tabernacle, for saith he that thou make all things according to the pattern showed thee in the mounts. So that's basically saying make sure that you make it according to the exact measurements that I'm telling you, and there was a reason for that, because it was a scale of what was in the heavens, man. It was designed based on what was pretty much in the heavenly realm. The temple that the tabernacle that the Israelites made on earth that you can read about in Exodus the 25th chapter was designed, and Yahweh told them to do this because he was telling them to make something based on a lesser scale of something that he has already made in the heavens, man. So how are people going to try and make out like salvation is for everybody when Yahweh told the Israelites to make something that he has made in the heavens, but he has never did that for no other nation, man. And the high priest, right, which is Yahweh Shai, that he's talking about in this case, he's still there making sure that the Israelites have intercession for their sins, man, when we're going off, because his blood was the covering of that one time only, man. He only had to give a sacrifice once. Whereas in the way of the earthly tabernacle, when there was a high priest, that would be done once a year. That would be done once a year, man. Unless I'm mistaken. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But I know that it was more than once. Whereas Yahweh Shai only had to offer his sacrifice one time, and that's why that sacrifice was of a pure kind, man. Because there was no, that got rid of the whole need for the earthly sacrifice after he did that. Verse 6, but now he hath obtained a more excellent ministry, but how much also is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. For if that first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them, he saith, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. House of Israel and house of Judah is really just referring to the splitting of the kingdom of Israel, right? But when you go to Ezekiel the 37th chapter, it speaks about how the Israelites are going to no longer be two nations, but they're going to be one nation, right? And they're going to no longer be split into two kingdoms anymore. When was the Israelites split into two kingdoms? You can read about it in the book of Kings, right? In the books of the Kings. And you will find out about how Solomon sinned, then Rehoboam went away and was led astray and all of that. And then the kingdom started getting split into two different separate nations, man. The Assyrians took down one part of the Israelites and the Babylonians took down another. And since that time, the Israelites have not all been in the land ever again, which shows how deep that thing that took place was, man. Now, again, if any of you people want to try and say that it's anything else other than that, let it be known. Let it be known, man. But are all the Israelites in the land of Israel right now? No, they're not. And even according to those people that claim to be Israelites over in the land, they would say that. Verse 8, for finding fault with them, he saith, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord. For this is the covenant that I'll make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I'll put my laws into their mind, and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. So how are people saying that Yahweh don't love the Israelites when he literally told Moses a design based on something that he's made in the heavens, but it was obviously scaled down to be smaller, right? But he told him to design something that he had made in the heavens so that the earth could have a tabernacle resembling what was in the heavens, man, and so that the Israelites could have a tabernacle resembling something that he's made in the heavens, which he was waiting and continually waiting, and was going to make Yahweh Shai be the high priest of that tabernacle, man. Now, if people want to try and scoff and say, nah, that's not what he's talking, well, what's it talking about then? For all you Christian scoff and bug outs out there, man. What's it talking about then, man? You Christians and all you fake heathens and that want to try and attach yourself to the scriptures, you're never going to be under this covenant that I've just read. Never in your whole life, man. You ain't Israelites, man. And they shall not judge, and they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me from the least to the greatest. Every Israelite is going to know about the Lord, for I will be merciful to their unrighteousness, and their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. Meaning that the Israelites are going to be forgiven for their sins, man, because one sacrifice was done for every single Israelite. All of them, even the evil ones, man, even the wicked ones, even the ones that didn't believe in Yahweh Shai. One sacrifice was done for every single one of them, man. For the Jew Israelite that was born up under the law, and for the Greek Israelite that wasn't born up under the law. For the Gentile Israelite that was born following heathen customs, and for the Jew Israelite that was born under every single custom, which ultimately in the time that we're living in right now, were all those Greek Gentile type Israelites. We all started off like that, and hardly anyone was born that I know about was born knowing that they're an Israelite, man. Verse 13, in that he saith, a new covenant, he have made the first old. Now that which decayeth and waxeth old is ready to vanish away. And now it's like we're kind of in between the old covenant and grace, right? But once we're under the new covenant, it's going to be known, because we're all going to be following the laws, man. And we're going to be blessed after that. We're going to be changed, because the thing that needs to be changed is us. Not the laws, not the blessings, not the curses. The thing that needs to be changed is us. Not the promises doesn't need to be changed. We do. And that's what we're waiting for, man. And I'm going to end the lesson there. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham Makar Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect to the nation of Israel. Shalom.